Hi, my name is Patty and I'm doing a baking challenge. I release a video every Friday. Welcome to this week's video. Now, let's find out what I'm baking this week. Battenberg Cake. This will certainly be a first. Hey guys, welcome to another video. So this week we are making a British dessert, a British cake. It's called the Battenberg Cake. I've never made it and I haven't even tried it, but it looks interesting. It's an almond cake that will look like kind of like chess, because some squares will be pink and the others will be yellow or pale yellow, basically cake colored, regular cake, vanilla cake. Yeah, it will be interesting. The outside of the cake will be marzipan, so we are actually going to make the marzipan as well, and let's see how it turns out and if we like it. I like almond flavored things, so I'll probably like it. Okay, let's do this. We start by preparing the baking pan. We grease it all over and add some parchment paper, and then we need to make a foil divider because we're going to make two different colors of cake. So in order to use the same baking pan, we need to divide it in the center. And by the way, that's a 20 centimeter baking pan, square baking pan. So now we are doing our sponge cake. We creamed some butter with sugar, and then we added 3 eggs, one at a time. Now we are adding our flavors. Don't forget to get to the bottom of the bowl because there might be some butter stuck in there. Now we are adding flour, self-raising flour and almond flour, and also baking powder, and then we just need to mix it until it's incorporated. Now we need to divide the batter in two so we can color one part pink. So I used red food color and I just added a little bit of it and it gets pink. As you can see, it wasn't a lot, just a little bit of gel. And now we are adding the batter to the baking pan, and we are going to need to smooth it out. And since we don't have much room on each side, it took me a while to get it to be smooth on top. So I went with the regular spatula, and then I got an offset spatula as well, so it was really smooth. And now it baked for 22 minutes in my case at 170 degrees Celsius. And now we need to unmold it. And then we store it in the fridge. I stored it in the freezer just so that it was easier to handle, and cake is usually not that difficult to cut when it's frozen, so I prefer to handle it like that if I have to cut a lot of it, so it's not as crumbly and also doesn't break easily. So now we are making the marzipan. Just some almond flour sifted, some icing sugar, some almond extract, and some egg whites. The recipe is below. Not the recipe. The ingredient list is below. And now we just need to get it all together and just knead it until it's smooth. And now it's the assembly part. First, we are going to need to cut both parts in half so I used a ruler just to have an idea of the center, and then I will have to cut some pieces, some little bits to even the sides. Some people bake this cake using special pans that are already divided in 4, and that's much easier, but I won't do this cake lots of times, so I don't need to have a special pan for it. That's why I used the foil in the center, and that works okay. You just need to take a bit longer in this part just to even out all the pieces. Now we are doing the same for the other half, for the pink half. Now we are just cutting some edges, and then we will need to check if the 4 together are straight or if we need to cut a little bit off any of them. So I was happy with that at the moment, so I went ahead and warmed up some apricot jam, and here I'm straining it to remove the larger bits, and now we just have the more liquid part of the jam to glue the marzipan onto the cake. So we can divide the marzipan right away in 4, but we need to keep the part that we are not using wrapped, otherwise it will dry out. Here I started with a little bit, then I saw that it wasn't enough, so I got a little bit more, and it's very easy to knit it together. This was my first time doing this type of cake, and the result wasn't bad. I think it could be a little bit better, but I think it was an okay job. The tricky thing here is that the marzipan is a bit delicate, so it breaks easily, and when I was taking it and bringing it to the cake, it was breaking in some pieces, so it wasn't as easy as it looked. So here I'm gluing the 4 pieces together with the jam, and now I saw that a little bit wasn't straight, so I'm just straightening it. Don't forget that you need to make it look like a chess, so we need to have one white, one pink, one white, one pink. Be careful not to cut your fingers. And here I'm seeing if that little bit is enough to cover the side. And then I need to cut the piece that's going to go against the board. Don't forget to add the jam before gluing it. And here it is. So the technique is just glue it and then turn it with the side, with the marzipan touching the board, and then cut the excess. That's the easiest way to cut the excess marzipan. And then do the exact same. Add jam, cut the piece that's going against the board, glue it, turning it upside down to cut the excess. And then the rest is exactly the same. If I saw that some pieces were breaking, I tried to mend them, or if there was a piece there was a little bit I was showing cake, I would put a little bit of marzipan. And here is the end result. I added some little flowers on top just so it added a little bit of a decoration, and I added enough marzipan left to do so, and even more than that. Okay, so here's the cake. Hey guys, so I've just finished making the cake. Here it is, one slice. Okay, could be more perfect, but I think it's all right. And it's now later in the evening, but I wanted to taste it, so let's taste it now. A little piece. I eat this little piece. Very almond. Obviously the cake is flavored with almond and vanilla. Obviously what you taste more here is the almond, and also you have the marzipan all around it, so you can avoid the almond. Yeah, I really like the flavor. But if you're not a fan of marzipan or almond flavored things, this might not be a cup of tea, but I like it. We used apricot jam to glue the little pieces together, and that flavor I think suits the cake, and you can't really taste a lot of it because I didn't use a lot, just enough to glue the pieces. So yeah, I like it. Would I make it again? Probably not. I like cake, but I don't need it to be like covered with the marzipan. But I think it was a good try and it's delicious. Yeah. Hope you like this video, and I'll see you next Friday for another one. Bye!